Live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Hey, we're recording that, so don't turn me back.
I gave you a definition of adjudication, which you shoved Lynn over that way.
I gave you
There it is.
Okay.
I highlighted something on there because I thought it was one for us. But,
This is just a general definition form.
Yeah, I highlighted.
I gave you that one that's the government's definition too. It says one of it is failures to be able to do your own
Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine says he's proud to announce.
And that's called adjudication.
Well, and it can be adjudicated by a lawful entity, of which the VA hospital is one, and Social Security is one.
DeWine says 160 people were defendants after investigations by the state fraud unit. 133
Really?
were convicted following fraud investigations. Jared Allen, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Over the last 12 months, Ohio has added about 38,700 jobs. Over the last 24 months, we added 171,700 jobs.
Ohio's unemployment rate held steady at 4.9% in February.
Ohio's unemployment rate in February was 4.9%, which was unchanged from January, but employment increased by 12,400 and the labor force increased by 3,400.
Angel Latiers with Job and Family Services says last month's unemployment increased by about 12,000 and the labor force increased by about 3,000. Manufacturing and leisure and hospitality industries saw the most job losses in February. Police are investigating the theory that this week's fatal crash on Morse Road was caused by a street race.
What they want to know is if anyone
It can't be. It's not all that loud out the front. Is that on your side or mine?
that also police say may have been speeding. So far, they do not have any description of that car confirmed.
Oh, I mean,
They are
out
not able to
of
confirm yet whether or
okay,
not
out our front speaker is not all that loud like
That's
normal, but
ABC6's Mike McCarthy, who says the car driven by
Okay.
24-year-old Frankie Stockton Jr.
Yeah, it's up close.
Stockton died as a result. All of the drivers and passengers in the other vehicles are expected to be okay.
Yep.
For your ABC6,
Yep, cool.
first morning weather forecast, a mix of rain and snow possible today. We'll have a high of 42. Cloudy and cold tonight, a low of 29. I'm Allison Wyatt. More news at the bottom of the hour and on demand at 610WTVN.com.
We have no major accidents or hazards on the roadways. Traffic is moving at or near posted speeds on all major freeways. However, you do see a problem on the roadways, give us a call on the traffic tip line at 821-1111.
Stopping for groceries on the way home? Paying with your credit card could put you at risk for identity theft. Thankfully, there's LifeLock. Their U.S.-based team of specialists helps fix identity theft problems. Membership start at $9.99 plus applicable tax. Go to LifeLock.com. Use the promo code RISK to save 10%.
Gadget Guru, Travel Buff, Sneaker Snob, Cupcake Connoisseur. Whatever your passion may be, you can help fuel it with up to $300 when you open and use a select new PNC checking account. Because on top of helping you manage your finances with tools for tracking your spending, paying your bills, and showing you the big picture of what your money's up to, a new PNC checking account can give you up to $300 to put back into the things you love, no matter what they are. Right now through March 31st, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new PNC checking account. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit and make at least one payment with PNC Online Bill Pay. For all the details, visit your local branch or go to pnc.com/checking offer. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, Phil. Guys, you didn't recognize me today, did you?
Hardly.
I was at the gym at 0700 hours, and I'm huge.
I was wondering why you were so buff looking.
Well, hey, that is it. And speaking of what the heck is going on, I tell you what, it's become...
PawPaw here. Looks like a bad hangover from St. Patty's Day.
It is, folks, it is well worth the video podcast to see some of the apparel that ends up on the show here. Thank goodness it's a radio show. Well, we are the owners of LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, is to always bring you the facts about the industry and ultimately help our customers and our listeners with the safe, responsible ownership of firearms. Today on the show is kind of a mixed bag. 2 different topics. One that will make you scratch your head or maybe even make you want to run out and buy a gun while you still can. We're going to look a little bit, dig into the NICS background system and see just what the prohibited list of people on the NICS, in the NICS database is. You'll be surprised.
Yes.
And then we're also going to talk about one of my favorite segment of firearms, the pistol caliber carbines. And since I determine what's on the show, that's what we're talking about today.
Hey, how about that?
Right.
But good topic. Great topic.
It is a good topic. And you know what, to be honest, it was an article, and I think recently in Guns and Ammo that got me thinking about it again. And you know, there's a lot to them. They are great for self-defense, great for taking to the range. And we'll also talk about them from what you get out of them a little bit more over a pistol.
And they get cooler and cooler as the time goes on. I mean, we've got a couple examples out here right now, and
I know there's quite a bit out there.
All I can say is it's a good thing you got an expert to make your broadcast table as big as it is.
Well, you know,
with all this stuff on it,
there is a lot of stuff on it.
But it is a nice table, though.
You did a good job.
So who made it?
Yeah, some guy that runs around this place.
With sawdust all over?
Yeah,
that's
always.
right. So at 1:20 though, PawPaw will have the gun of the week, and the talk on the street is you're looking for a holster. So if any of the listeners hear the gun of the week and have a holster and stuff, he might be in the market for one.
Yes, please. I need help. Yep. I just got the cartridge.
No, I mean is that yours?
That's mine.
Wow.
If you have a question anytime, the number is 614-821-WTVN or 1-800-610-WTVN. Follow us on Facebook at LEPD Firearms and Range to get all the latest announcements. And definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel that's out there at LEPD Firearms and Range. All the shows are put out there so you can see the talk between the commercials and some of the attire and some of what goes on, which is oftentimes just as entertaining as the show. If the show is entertaining, I don't know, but I'm saying it's...
Just saying.
Just saying. Just saying.
If we miss a topic or if you want us to cover a topic that we don't get to, our email address is OnTarget@lepd.com. We watch that throughout the week, and if we can help you with the question, certainly send us an email. Joining me today in the studio, JC from the sales team. JC, I see that you brought a supporting pistol for the gun of the week.
That's right, and without giving it away, but it's they did make it in 2 different frame sizes, and this is the earlier one, which is a little larger frame size, and the modern ones are a little bit smaller.
So, Paul, basically, you're going to be showing up again on your gun of the week. JC probably has more information he's going to
You know what? We could give him the gun of the week 2 seconds before the show starts, and he would know more about it than anybody else.
Yes. I also have here to my left, Mark, our Director of Training. Mark, I see another filled all-women's class going on up there today. I tell you what, I cannot believe how these classes are just filled every time we offer them.
It's crazy. The class, we've actually increased 4 times what we were doing last year. Every year it just keeps increasing. I don't know if it's, what's going on out there, people waking up, I'm not sure, but the classes, all of them, I mean, from basic all the way up to the defensive series, they're all...
Probably you do a great job at training, and people tell other people, and that's
part
how
of
they
it
come
too,
in.
but there's also some motivation. I mean, there's got to be, some of it, we see a lot of new ones come in too, so there's got to be something motivating people to,
San Bernardino, California.
Right.
So, right.
Also over here to my right, Ronnie, who makes a Boom Boom Tactical. Ronnie, who I heard you are debuting the new Boom Boom patch.
Yeah, we got my intern helped design. Well, actually, we designed it together, but he did the design work on the new patch, It was part of one of his projects for his last senior year at Ohio State, and I mean, it turned out really nice. It's a 4-inch patch with Velcro on the back, and we're going to be selling here. So if you want a very cool looking Boom Boom patch, just come on in and we'll get you.
Now, are you still selling the sweatpants with Boom Boom on the back of them?
Yes.
Okay.
And those have just skyrocketed.
Right.
Everybody wants those.
Those always sell out. I have here to my left too, PawPaw, my father and co-owner. Did you see how well I shot with that new revolver you gave me?
I saw that, but I have to mention your qualifications with 30S, the Glock 30S.
Yes.
There's a segment of it where you have to reload, fire 3 rounds, reload another magazine, and fire 3 additional rounds. You have 12 seconds to do that. Eric only had 1 magazine. So he shot his 3 rounds, dropped the mag, reloaded 3 rounds in his mag, put it back in, and got the rounds off in 12 seconds.
That's a reload.
No way.
That's
Did you really?
That is a reload,
that's a reload.
folks. So what do you mean you need an extra mag for a reload?
Where'd you put the firearm while you were doing the...
You don't want to know.
Yeah. Jerry Mitchell will keep your heart out.
But it was good though. I mean, 12 seconds, 6 rounds from 2 different. So, if you missed the show, you can always catch the podcast. We're at WTVN.com. If you want to meet the guys, stop by the showroom anytime. We're at 999 Bethel Road, just west of 315. Let's get to the news around the industry this week. Is sponsored by our friends over at Jackson Egress Windows. The weather's warming up, except for today. It's a great time to get that project on the books. Call our buddies over at Jackson Egress Windows. They will make your basement a living space. The windows that they put in brighten the basements. Basements, a lot of us hang out, and I know I do during the summertime. We're just nice and cool in the basement. Put a little bright light in it. PawPaw lives in the basement, and but give them a call. They're really, really good folks, and a good friend of ours. At 614-260-5130. What do you have for us, Lonnie?
Well, I'll tell you what. Did any of you guys see the snow this morning?
Yes, I looked out and saw that.
And guess what today is?
First day or second day of spring?
No, first day of spring. March 19th.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the equinox, and it's the first day of spring, and it's snowing on the first day of spring. Today is the 19th, isn't it?
You've got to hate that global warming.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Now, another thing too, and I don't know, we were going to discuss this a little bit, but some people were wondering about the new Supreme Court nominee, Merrick Garland, who was appointed by Obama, and everybody's like, well, he seems like a really nice, moderate guy. Well, he is he's the chief judge in the U.S. Court of Appeals, and he's one of the main guys who is responsible for striking down the law that allowed people to have firearms in Washington, D.C.
It goes even further. In his ruling, he said that every firearm that is owned should, if it is not being used for recreational or sporting use, there should be a law causing it to be broke down and not fireable. Has to be stripped down and broken down and not put together unless it is at a range or being used for a specific purpose, and that nobody should have a functional firearm in their home.
In their home?
This is Obama's
in their home.
In their home.
In their home.
Yeah, no one should have a judge like that on their court.
Oh, you think that was an accident? Yeah, we'll see.
And see, and this is one thing too. Regardless of who finally makes it to the nominee for the presidency, you need to suck it up, and whoever it is, vote for them other than Hillary, or she will be appointing the next Supreme Court judge if she's in office.
Could be the beginning of the end if this happens.
Or two. Hey, Mark, I think you need a class on putting your firearm together quickly.
We can do that. We actually teach that in one of the classes.
When you get to the point of reloading and stuff, I'm there for you.
Okay.
And hey, speaking of that, speaking of voting and getting out and doing the right thing, we see that our old PG Sittenfeld didn't make it. So I guess the folks spoke, and all those commercial campaigns about how we need more gun control and this and that just didn't resonate too well with the fine folks of Ohio. So.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah,
maybe not next time. Let's Yeah, news-wise, just to let you know, this is a follow-up from last week. We did talk about some of the states that were going with constitutional carry. And I gave off a list. We had 7, and then West Virginia just passed it, and it's going to go into effect on March 26th. It'll be the 8th state. And then I also gave a list of ones that were considering it. Well, one that was not on the list has jumped the gun over, and as news yesterday, Idaho, the House and the Senate has passed by a 54 to the Senate by 54 to 14 margin, and is now submitted to Governor Otter of Idaho, permitless carry in Idaho. And the sources say that with both House and Senate passing it, that he's not, probably not going to veto this. So it's going to be the 9th state that will have constitutional carry. So just as a follow-up, so I said the ball can be rolled a little bit on this, and there's a state that had it. We had a couple of other things. This one's a local thing and that happened that I think it's pretty important. We've talked about it before, but it's still continuing. The newspaper, The Post in Medina, recently reported a local firearms dealer was surprised to find that his bank accounts with First Merit Bank were closed without just sending letters saying, hey, we're closing your accounts. And they cited risky business practices. And this is under this Obama 2013 passed chokehold. So he said, risky business. He goes, I've got a federal firearms license, just like any gun store. He said, I take guns on consignment from the people all over Ohio. And he said, and they get shipped out to licensed gun dealers all across the country. And as he pointed out, there's a lot of misunderstanding that people just don't seem to get. When we talk about this online, online is not the sale, but you like our advertising online. You want to get this, you say, fine, where's your gun store? I will ship the gun there, and there you can pick it up and get your background. There is not online without this background check.
The mainstream media doesn't point this out. They want you to believe that you can just buy a gun online, have it shipped to your door. Right. It isn't. Every single gun that is sold online has to be shipped to an FFL where a complete background check is done. And, with all of that's being said there, when it comes down to is that goes with this administration's policies. And they put firearms, anything to do with firearms, in the same classification as pornography. So we used to have a merchant's account with Bank of, I'll throw their name out there since they did it, Bank of America. They actually stopped processing everything because we had firearms listed in our transaction.
Well,
it was too risky.
This guy, this First Merit, he said he'd been dealing with them for years. All of a sudden they come out and do this, and he said they just told him the fact he's selling guns online, that's where the risk. He goes, what risk? I'm selling them to a gun as a licensed dealer to a licensed dealer, then they're getting background checks when they're sold. So once again, this administration has done everything that they can to just muck this up. So
what was the name of that bank again?
It was First Merit.
That was the second. If you look, they received bailout money somewhere along the way.
So that's not Second Merit. That's First Merit Bank.
So that merits your consideration when looking for a bank. Try to look for one that does not think that you are a risky person.
Great story. Great story. When we come back, we'll get to our choice. Actually, PawPaw's choice for Gun of the Week. He's had 2 weeks to prepare. We've all been waiting for it. That's right when we come back and return. We're on target, broadcasting live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility.
Loud voices.
You can't wait an extra 12 seconds.
We don't agree.
Your vote. Your civilized voice. On your election headquarters. News Radio 610. WTVN. Get the ultimate in roofing with residential steel roofing from Menards. It's beautiful and lasts a lifetime. It's hail-on and fire-resistant and it won't crack, peel, or warp like asphalt shingles. Menards residential steel roofing is available in 31 attractive colors and can be ordered to the length you need. It also helps cut energy bills because it reflects the sun's heat instead of absorbing it. Come into Menards now and find out why residential steel is the last roof you'll ever need.
Hi, I'm Don Jones from Rutherford Fuel House. After 90 years of serving families, we've learned that people in need options. If this sounds like you, we'd like to show you the advantages of pre-planning your funeral. Learn how you can pay for tomorrow's funeral at today's prices. So your family will get mad. If you want to
I gotta go get
reduce stress on your family and give you peace of mind with funeral planning, please call us at 624-540-06.
We're driving home from soccer practice, and it's pouring out. The truck next to me kicks up a puddle right onto our windshield. At that moment, I wasn't getting a second chance to choose the right wiper. That's why I always use Trico wipers. They're precision engineered to perform on my vehicle. Trico wiper blades came through for me, right when I needed it most.
Trico wiper blades are available at Advance Auto Parts, CarQuest, Mr. Tire, and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. More information at wiperblades.com.
Let's be honest. There are times when what you don't know can hurt you. Let's agree that having lung cancer is one of those times. Because more people die of lung cancer than any other cancer, and it often shows no symptoms until the later stages when it's more difficult to treat. That's why Mount Carmel offers lung cancer screenings that detect even the smallest spots on the lungs when cancer is most treatable. So if you're between the ages of 55 and 77 and have smoked at least a pack a day for 30 years, you should be screened. Mount Carmel is dedicated to providing the highest level of care for the diagnosis and treatment of lung cancer, including genetic testing, the latest minimally invasive surgical procedures, advanced radiation therapy, and access to clinical trials. For more information about lung cancer screening, call 614-234-LIFE or visit mountcarmelhealth.com. Let's take care of today, so tomorrow can be even better. Mount Carmel, because of you.
That's right.
The Germain Auto Show sales event is going on all month long at Germain Lexus. Get low lease payments, special finance rates.
Hey, Mr. Campy.
On every Lexus.
Everything still looking good?
Lease the 2016 NX for just $349 a month.
40. Cool. How long till weather?
Plus, Lexus will make your first.
2 minutes. All right. Hey, at the bottom, just if you we'll just listen for music when we got to go out.
Or get started at Germain Lexus.
All right.
Excludes official fees, taxes, and dealer charges with approved credit, no security deposit.
Okay.
And $331.16.
The Brew Brothers.
If we go early, does that help us on the backside of the time?
Pianos, live band karaoke, a delicious menu, and in-house craft beers. The Brew Brothers, meals, music, and microbrews at El Dorado, Scioto Downs.
The problem is I can't wear this.
Okay.
Are you sure you can't put them
Okay.
behind your back? I tried that once. It does.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
It does fit.
yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, just we'll listen for music if I don't do it. All right, thank you.
No, they don't rotate. So if I turn them sideways, it doesn't fit my ears. I took a picture already.
I know.
I'm Lance Bass, and I will not be news today. I will not make another wish to be the first man in space with first tips and a Puka shell necklace.
Yeah, but the whole world does.
I like that one. When I realized
The whole world does, PawPaw.
All right. Face detection wasn't picking them up.
Because there is a much bigger story that needs to be heard.
Still needs our attention. Follow the response recovery and rebuilding at trendrs.org. Brought to you by USAID, the National Medical Corps, and the Ad Council.
I don't know how you do it. Sitting in a cubicle staring at that computer screen all day. Come on, take a break. Log on to iHeartRadio.com. Listen to your favorite stations and your favorite tunes absolutely free. It'll make you a happier worker. Just remind the boss a happy worker is a productive worker.
But right now,
all your
I have
favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio.com.
From the Central Ohio Chevy Dealer Studios. Now get $500 in auto show bonus cash on most Chevy models. Use Radio 610 WTVN, an iHeart radio station.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today: cloudy and colder, rain, snow mix likely. Little to no accumulation though, high of 40. For tonight, still cold, a few flurries still possible, low of 30. For Sunday, a wintry mix again, mainly early though, cloudy and cold, high of 41. Currently 40 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 10s, mornings and afternoons. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Welcome back to On Target. I am your host, Eric. Joined today in the studio with JC from the sales team, Ronnie, who makes up Boom Boom Tactical, Mark, our director of training, my father, and co-owner Phil, and I failed to mention we have Campy on in the studio working the levers and answering your phone calls. So thank you, Campy. So it is now time for that ever anticipated. And it's been actually a 2-week anticipation here, PawPaw.
Well, I want to clarify that too.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Oh, no, we were talking about something we talked about last, so we're backing up here, folks, just a second. We were talking about, we were using terms like FFL, where, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, when we said about people sending guns to an FFL, what an FFL, it stands for a federal firearms licensee. So they're actually licensed by the federal government, yet the federal government says that sending one federally licensed firearms dealer to another federal firearms license dealer is risky business. Right. That's crazy. So if you hear these terms, that's what they mean.
Can you get an FFL over the internet?
Wrong.
John, what you're missing on there is the terminology, the way that it's written. It's not the sale of it, the transfer of it. It's the word firearm. It was added to the high-risk category, and they sent that out to all the financial institutes.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
That's First Merit Bank.
Yeah, I was just going to say First Merit Bank.
Am I going to do my gun of the week? First of all, I want to give Mark hell for thinking out last week, and I had to cram. Go ahead.
So wait, the gun of the week.
Gun of the week,
sponsored by Caltech, and just to let you know, these guys produce some awesome, neat firearms. We just got in some more accessories for the KSG. I don't know if you guys have even seen it. They've just now sent out the extended buttstock for the KSG. So if you've bought a KSG before, this is a really neat addition. Can go right on the back. Extended, give you a little more.
And a little softer cushion and a little longer.
We're going to have 30 seconds for
there you go.
All right, first of all, I'm coming out of the closet. I am from very early age. I was always been a cowboy nut. Cowboy guns, holsters, and so nothing has changed. I also want to keep up my tradition of the gun of the week is always a firearm that I own. And so I like to keep that tradition up. So with that being said, the gun of the week is the Ruger New Vaquero. Not to say the old Vaquero. It's actually the name of the firearm is New Vaquero. Okay, and a beautiful cowboy-looking Western-style single-action revolver. Mine's 45 long Colt. They also make them in 357 Magnums, and they come in barrel lengths of 4 and 5/8. Mine happens to be 4 and 5/8 inches. And also 5.5 inches. I think they even have a
7.5 inch, and now they have a sheriff's model in the new one, which is only 3 3/4 of an inch. So the tiny tuckaway one.
And there's a lot of new design features with this. One noticeable one is that it's a smaller frame as compared to the older Vaquero, which is what John has over there, and it's noticeably a smaller frame, more like the Colt single action. Okay, and they say that these firearms, Ruger makes a tremendous.
They're built like locomotives.
Oh yeah, I mean can handle all kinds of ammunition. There's a couple other improvements though besides the size. And this is the loading gate. A lot of times, some of these revolvers, you're turning the cylinder to load, and a lot of times, once the cylinder clicks to where it needs to be, the chamber doesn't line up with the loading gate.
Yeah.
Well, that's been taken care of. Also, the hammer has been redesigned for better cocking, single action. By the way, this is all single action. This is a cowboy gun. It's all there is to it, and I've been trying to get cowboy accessories. I got my belt today. That's carries a 45 long Colt cartridge. We're trying to get a holster. I do have one here now, but it's a cross draw. Not to mention it's a different color than my belt now.
Are you going to qualify with that?
No, not really.
Could you if you wanted to?
You could if you could do the reload fast enough.
Hey, I know someone who can reload.
They don't mix. You can't use a speed loader on there, so.
Yeah, and also the ejector rod button has been changed to a crescent shape versus I think the older ones that were round. And let me see here. It has the typical safety transfer bars and everything. Some of the superstitions or some of the older firearms, they always kept one cylinder empty, and that's what the rest hammer on. In fact, in some of the old days, they used to roll up a dollar bill or a $20 bill, put it in that cylinder, and that was the way they just kept some extra money around. But anyways, no, you can load all 6 rounds into this firearm and not worry about one live round being under the hammer. How's my time, Eric?
Well, when you hear the music, you know you're limited.
Oh, you know, just for the record, I am looking for that style gun.
That's right.
In a blue model. So if anyone's selling them, please stop in and let me know.
Okay, look, I wanted to thank my doctor and her good husband for my treats today, which come from the Cream of Nut Company. And again, I've had these before. Is that can you handle my spicy hot nuts?
Always a good flavor.
Always a good flavor, and it is spicy and hot.
Well, good gun of the week, PawPaw. Next week, JC will have the gun of the week. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the NICS background check and get into pistol caliber carbines. We're on target. We're broadcasting live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. We'll be right back.
Why is it you don't advertise during the Super Bowl or most big-time ball games for that matter?
Well, the cost of advertising on those matters is pretty expensive.
Okay, I understand that, but Dennis Hyundai doesn't advertise during the Academy Awards or any high-profile shows.
Well, if we did, our customers would have to pay for it.
Great way to tell you about Hyundai Assurance, America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty.
It's one of our seasons. We're known for saving folks money and keeping advertising affordable is one way to do it.
I guess that's why you're offering the all-new 2017 Hyundai warranty lease for $169 for 36 months for only $2017 up front.
We know some will be disappointed they won't be seeing our ads telling folks how we're the Consumer Choice Awards winner for being the #1 Hyundai dealer in Central Ohio.
At both Dennis Hyundai of Dublin and Dennis Hyundai on Morse Road.
Right, and by telling you about our TV commercials on the radio, which is a cheaper way to advertise, we save you more money.
So you can charge even less, but everyone knows that.
But what's that noise?
Keith, that's you. You're so tight you squeak.
That's a dealer you can trust.
Radio 610 WTBN and Allison Wyatt.
Oh, I know.
Mike Levitt says he's endorsing Ohio Governor John Kasich for president.
I've worked with the president, I've worked for the president, I've been there when they made my decisions. Temperance is important, experience is important. And I think John has it.
Levitt says he's known Kasich for years and believes he has the experience necessary to make good decisions in the White House. Acura is set to make their first car outside of Japan. Production on the NSX is ready to begin in Ohio in April. And the Columbus Zoo is celebrating the arrival of 3 tiger cubs this week. The 3 babies were born healthy on Wednesday night and are bonding with their mother, Isra. For your ABC 6, first morning weather forecast, cloudy skies tonight, a low of 59,
not yet.
cloudy and cool on Sunday, a high of
We still standing good camp?
I'm Allison White, breaking news and weather alerts
Oh, it's Bank of America. We use a PayPal right now.
You have to love
Yeah, that's all right. Keep Gil forever.
Even better. You know it's Ram Truck Month. You know
They keep talking. This next topic and stuff, it shouldn't. I'm guessing that it's not going to take up half of our time, but you never know. I'm gonna mention callers and stuff too. Anyone calling by chance?
$8,500 in savings
Okay.
for every Ram dealer in Columbus. You know they get great gas mileage. You know they're awesome for torque and power. Gas mileage is fantastic and the smoothest of smooth rides with that Ram Truck 8-speed transmission. It's standard. Now when you look at other trucks, the differences are endless. But when you talk about Ram, you're talking about performance, mileage, ride, quality, and an unbelievable deal for you right now. $9,500 on the 2016 Ram Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
You did? For what?
$9,000 in savings on the Ram everybody wants. The Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4. Your Ram dealer has the details.
That's awesome.
So stop by, drive one, and see today.
Now is that full time or how's that going to play?
Always punctual and explain procedures and children's development so well. Thank you for taking such good care of our family.
That's awesome. You always did like that sort of thing. You said.
Sensitive teeth.
Cool. All right, so Em will be back midstream here.
XRP small frame, and then because of that, we could drop this down to the
You tell her I'm hopping mad at her. Furious. Boy, she stood me up. We had a date here at the store. Definitely, anytime. Just Cool. How much time we got? A couple minutes?
While supplies last. 1090 West 5th Avenue. When you think furniture, think Fortner. Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-657-1051.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle. Never have to clean your machine by hand again. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited time offer only available by calling 1-800-657-1051. That's 1-800-657-1051.
Here Heating and Cooling, where we would match our competitors' prices, but we raising ours. Call Lady Runner Cooling.
Live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the studio with JC from the sales team, Ronnie, who is Boom Boom Tactical, Mark, our director of training and owner of B Elite Tactical. My father is in the house, but has stepped away off selling something like he often does during the show.
I think he's just talking now.
Oh, he could be talking, yeah.
No, he's selling.
He's talking to someone about his gun of the week, you know. He had another like 4 or 5 pages, I think, that he didn't get to, So, you know, guys, I like to use facts, and we all do, I think, here, to disprove some of the rhetoric from politicians and some media in regards to firearms. I figure that if you can use the facts, how can you dispute that? So, over the last couple of weeks, I set out to look more in depth into the NICS background system, so the NICS FBI check system. And so what I did, I went out there and I pulled how many people and what type of people are on this infamous NICS background list. So this list is the list where they have identified, for whatever reason, why a person who is on this list is not able to purchase a firearm, okay? So presumably you would think the people on this list are the ones that are a part of all the disqualifying things that would prevent you from being able to legally own one, such as being a convicted felon, misdemeanor conviction for domestic violence, renouncing your country, you know, habitual user of drugs, and on and on.
Dishonorable discharge.
Dishonorable discharge and all those things. So when I set out to look at this list, I was looking to see how they were categorized and what really made up the impetus of this list. So I went out there and I was able to pull actually a current list, current as of February of this year. So I went out there, and the first thing that kind of jumped out at me is, and I would talk to the guys here before the show, I was very surprised at how many people were on this list.
Yeah.
So I, for no scientific reason, I figured 2-3 million people maybe on the list nationwide to be able, who have been identified as someone who couldn't legally own a gun. Folks, I was surprised to find out there are currently 14.5 million people on this list.
That's a chunk.
That's a lot of folks. So I then further looked into it, and I wanted to see, of this 14.5 million, where do these people sit? Why are they on there? Are they on there, because of having committed a crime, or what is the reason? So again, for no scientific reason, just intuition, I thought, okay, I bet the vast majority of these people on this list have committed a crime, a felony, something like that, and that is why they're on the list.
That would seem logical.
Stands to reason, right? I was surprised that the number one category on this list, making up 6.7 million, okay, 6.7 million of the 14 million, were illegal or unlawful aliens.
So if they're on the list, doesn't that mean that they know where they are? Now, why are they still allowed to be here?
They know their names, they know their birth dates enough and they know that they're here illegally to be put on this list.
Absolutely.
But we don't deport them anymore.
No,
we
don't
let them
do
stay.
anything.
We just add them to the no-gun list.
Right, and furthermore, we've talked numerous times here about kind of some of our thoughts on non-U.S. citizens being able to purchase a gun. And, if that's the decision that we collectively as a society say that a non-U.S. citizen is able to purchase a gun, then we need to come out and say that it's okay and not have them do it through a loophole. And it is a loophole. It's a loophole because it says if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can purchase a firearm in the United States if you're here for legal hunting purposes and you possess a hunting license. How many times, folks, have we seen people come in this store with a valid hunting license and says, I want that Glock 19?
Yeah.
It's a loophole.
Right. Don't you hunt big game with that?
Little game.
Oh, little game. Okay.
So
human size.
So if we take a stance that, okay, we don't as a society want non-U.S. citizens owning firearms, then this whole category should in essence go away. We shouldn't have to be identifying folks for on this list.
Absolutely.
So the second category on here, I'm sure it has to be the people who've committed crimes, right? So we're already 14 million people total, 6.7 million identified as illegal or unlawful aliens. Lo and behold, number 2 on this list, coming in at 4.3 million. 4.3 million, so almost a third of the list. People are on here for having been identified as adjudicated mental health issues.
This one should be a red flag, and these numbers, I guarantee if you run this next year, will probably double because of what they're doing.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Mark, because I looked at it from 2 years ago, or a few years ago. Actually, it was 2012. That same number in 2012 was 1.8 million. 1.8. It is more than doubled in these last 4 years.
I'm going to share a little piece of advice that I give all of my CCW classes or advanced classes. When you go to the doctors now and you're handed a form and you're like reading this form going, what does this have to do with my doctor's visit today? Because it says, do you feel depressed? Do you have anxiety? Do you own a firearm? Please do not answer it. Just draw a line through it like I do and put NA. Because if you check depression, firearm, or anxiety, you are now entered into this mental health database.
And folks, we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, the NICS background form. If you want to jump in at 614-821-WTV. And the thing that's most disturbing here, and JC, we went up and looked out the definition of
adjudicated.
Right, and what did you find?
Well, normally when you think of adjudicated, I always think, well, it goes through a court process, there's a judge, people present a case, and it's adjudicated because that is what you feel. But in the definition of adjudicated, it's just, one of them is simply a decision made by an authority. So, a decision made by an authority, it does not necessarily mean you have a say, that you even have knowledge of it.
Here's a scenario. You have a death in the family. You can't sleep, you're upset, you're dealing with that. You go to the doctor and go, hey doc, I'm feeling a little down, just lost my father. Can you give me something to help me sleep? Now, the new coding system that they created in October this year for the doctors and medical field to use, they have to fill that out, and the code is going to include depression. So if you fill that form out and you say you have a firearm, guess what? You are now adjudicated mentally ill, even though it's a temporary thing and has to do with a death.
And there's really no due process for it.
There is none. You
You
cannot get your name off of this list. There is no way for you to find out if your name is on the list. So there's nothing. It's like the no-fly list.
Yeah,
you get put on it, and there's nothing.
You go to purchase a firearm legally, and also sometimes I'm sorry, you've been denied. Denied? Why? Well, because somebody at some time put somebody on the list.
Yeah. And here's the scary thing, JC, and I know you're getting to this point here. We talked about this about a year ago, and Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa stumbled upon this, and he said, as of June of 2012, 99.3% of all names reported on the NICS list of having a mental deficiency or defectiveness coming from the Veterans
Administration. These are veterans firearms trained.
And now they have added Social Security to it too. So anyone here's another thing that will get you on this list. All of the government forms have the option at the bottom where it says, was this form filled out by you or by someone else? So if you have a representative, a lawyer, or someone fill it out for you and you do not sign it, and they only sign it, They say you are not mentally competent to fill out the form, so you fall into that group.
This is what this administration is doing. When you're adjudicated as a mental defective, we all have it in our mind what it is, but it is not that. Yeah, if a court, board, or commission lawfully, commits you, if they find you're a danger to yourself or others, you go, yeah, they shouldn't have guns. That's very true. But the second definition is, or lacks the capacity to manage their own affairs. At the Veterans Administration, people who have been denied got back from Iraq. They've had bills that are built up through the Veterans Administration. They offer a program to consolidate your bills, and some clerk, technician there marks you needed some help with that because you're consolidating your bills. That goes into the system, and these veterans are now denied their ability
the other thing that happens
or
there,
have any guns in their
the
house.
other thing that happens there is, let's say you're injured and you come back. They give you an advocate, and the reason I know this is I had an advocate assigned to me, but fortunately it was before this was instituted. When I was injured, someone was there to help me with all the process. Now, if you do that, you're considered incompetent of filling out your own, taking care of your own business, so you're added to this list now too.
And once you're healed, there's no process for you to go in and appeal that.
Hey, let's go to one of our callers. John, you're on with the guys from OnTarget. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'll tell you what happened. I got my concealed carry about 5 years ago, and I got no problem. When I went to renew it, a possession of marijuana came up from 1974 from the state of Missouri. They revoked my license. I don't quite understand why that didn't come up on the first time.
Because is that a legitimate charge? Were you actually charged with that in Missouri?
In 74?
Well, it's a weird circumstance. Yes, I was.
Okay.
And, but the judge said if I went into the service, nobody would ever see this.
Okay. What?
Go ahead.
It's going to be fairly. You've had a scot-free record since then? You haven't had any problems?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was 18 years old then.
Okay. What you need to do, this is easily fixed, but the reason it just popped up was we did our databases that we're running now when you do the background check were not connected back when you first got it. As of last year, it was a little over a year now, everything is now linked together. So revocation suspensions, misdemeanors that weren't reported through NCIC, the national crime database. So state offenses were not being pulled up. Now everything is linked together, so all these old charges are coming up. With that type of charge being what it is, it was probably, I'm going to guess, a misdemeanor, even though it was back then. All you need to do is get with an attorney and have that charge expunged or sealed and then reapply, and you will not have a problem. I've seen this many, many times, especially since the databases have been updated. It is an easy problem to fix. Just get yourself an attorney and have them get that charge expunged for you.
And the attorney that was on our show last week, Derek DeBross, specializes in that.
Yep. Yeah. He specializes.
What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Derek DeBross. If you give us a call here at the store, we'll make sure we set you up with his phone number and everything. But thanks for the call, John. And
you're up there on Bethel, correct?
That is correct.
999 Bethel Road.
That's right. All right, thanks for the call. And as we go into break here, one other stat I want to give you about this next background. Coming in at number 3 were the felons and people with convictions of a crime at 2.4 million. So twice as many people are on the list for having adjudicated mental health issues than crimes. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about pistol caliber carbines. One of my favorite things. We have a table littered with them right here.
I love them.
Oh, yes, you have to. We're on target. We're broadcasting live from LEPD Firearms and Range. If you want to jump in on the conversation, it's 614-821-WTVN, or if you're outside the listening area, 1-800-610-WTVN. We'll be right back.
The Gentle Dentist continues giving compliments from their patients.
You're always punctual and explain the procedure.
Where have you been?
I had to sweat bull.
You just went back in your...
And where were you last week?
What did you have last week?
You know what? That's probably about the only excuse I would accept.
The Gentle Dentist in Worthington. New patients receive a free Hazel Pro Sonic toothbrush with your first...
Why didn't I get it? Was it a TVN thing?
3311.
Springtime in Columbus.
And don't I get any, invite or anything to that?
When I was
All right, and that's okay. It has been duly noted. I'm just giving you a hard time. Well, glad you're back. Things have been going good here, and what's your current temp there? 42. Okay, and then we'll just listen for the music going out. And let me know if there's any callers. It's you, I know. All right, I'll be listening. All right, see you, bye.
Here's owner Jim Williams. This offer's limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house like Rhino Shield.
But when your car gets dead, accident, fine line. We're proud to be the largest family-owned body shop with 6 locations in Central Ohio. We offer free estimates and can cover up to $1,000 of your deductible. Fine Line works directly with all insurance companies, and we're factory certified with lifetime warranties on all repairs. To make it easier on our customers, we have a rental car company in all of our Fine Line facilities and offer free towing. Celebrating 20 years of experience, we have 98% customer satisfaction. Call 258-5555. That's 258-5555. Or visit us on the web at FineLineAutobody.com. Protecting you every step of the way. We're solid insurance. Start saving today.
Using over 30 companies to get you auto rates as low as $19 a month. Call us now, 1-800-89-SOLID or solidinsurance.com.
This isn't a commercial. It's a gift to anyone who's sick and tired of dealing with their hearing loss. Because we'll give everyone who calls a risk-free trial of a life-changing hearing breakthrough called Listen Free. Not only that, we'll also give you free shipping and free batteries for life. But you must call now. 1-800-913-2759. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisible. And you can adjust this to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you do. Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. So if you're sick of dealing with your hearing loss, let us give you a 100% risk-free home trial. With free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-913-2759. That's 1-800-913-2759. 1-800-913-2759.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of My Pillow. Like all of you out there, I have problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, I feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented My Pillow, I wanted it to where you could move the pad and feel to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. My Pillow will help you into your deep rest faster and you'll stay well. It's not about how much time you spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep you get. I do all around manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry My Pillow. And I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. Combine all my pillows and get my absolutely free. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-480-1941 and use the promo code IHEART. That's 800-480-1941 or go to mypillow.com and use the promo code IHEART.
The Winning Retirement Show with Greg Taylor, Sunday mornings 6 to 7 on 610 WTVN.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today: cloudy and colder. What happened to the nice weather, guys? Rain snow mix, likely little to no accumulation though, high of 40. For tonight, still cold, few flurries possible, low of 30. For Sunday, another wintry mix possible, mainly early though, cloudy and cold, high of 41. Currently 42 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Keeping you connected to Columbus.
News Radio 610
WTVN.
Welcome back to On Target. I am your host, Eric. PawPaw now he is wearing his gun of the week. Actually, that looks kind of good.
I like the belt.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm not real keen on the cross-draw holster, but I like the holster. It's a real well-made holster.
That is a nice holster. Well, we are broadcasting today live from LEPD Firearms Range. We are located on Bethel Road, just west of 315, a couple doors down from Micro Center and Starbucks and CBS, just before you go under the train tracks. So we're going to, for the remaining time here, I know we don't have a ton of time, we're going to talk about one of my favorite segments of firearms, pistol caliber carbines.
So 4 minutes, go.
And you know, they've been around for years, and in the day, probably the popular ones that are out there were the Ruger PC9, standing for police caliber, and the Marlin Camp 9, and these were all rifles that shot 9mm, and oftentimes they were able to accept the same magazine as your pistol, your sidearms. That was the premise of it. More recently, though, some of the common ones you see: the Beretta CX Storm, the Colt 6951, the Stag Arms has a great one out. The ever elusive Kel-Tec Sub 2000, which Ronnie is holding at the moment.
This thing is sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
And
that was a birthday present for the wife.
Aw, how about that?
Yeah, that's the gift that keeps on giving.
For the wife, and he smiled when he said
it was Christmas. That's what it was. It was a Christmas present. Yeah.
When we had them to sell, you know. So, and one of my favorite ones, actually, and they don't get a whole lot of press out there, is the Thurion Defense. We have one up on the range that takes Glock 9mm mags. Great gun. I personally have the same gun that takes a 45 ACP Glock mags. So when you look at all of these, what are the benefits of these pistol caliber carbines? You know, they not only come in 9mm. Many of these now you're able to get in 40 and 45, and they take the same magazines as
our tactical unit. Back before these things were like out on the market, we actually went to several firearms manufacturers, and Olympic Arms said, "We will make you an AR platform pistol, a compact gun that would fit the same mag and the same caliber that your main duty weapons were, which were 40. So all of our entry team members got them because with the 40, we were able to just interchange our mags. You add velocity, you add accuracy, and you have the ability to place that round a lot quicker, a lot easier because of the longer barrel.
And a lot farther too, longer sight radius.
It increases the velocity tenfold.
Yeah, it does. And we looked at it. We were listing out all the benefits of the pistol caliber carbines, and it goes, the longer sight radius, like you mentioned, Ronnie, low recoil. Most of these, even if you have a 45 like I do, you can, and they're very fun to shoot.
And it's great for family defense, because women and smaller members can handle this much easier than they can a semi-automatic pistol. So
now there is one downside: you can go through a 50-round box ammo pretty quick.
Yeah, but it is the less expensive, ammo.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So there's, there are a ton of different ones out there, and JC, you have some stats on the muzzle velocity.
Well, just in general. Now this is a generality, but you can add about 35 to 40 feet per second for every inch of barrel length. If you have a 9mm that's coming out around 1,100 feet per second out of your gun, and you add another 10 inches to it, you're probably going to get close to another 350 feet per second out of it, which more knockdown power.
So stop by and see. We have several here for sale, different models and stuff. Come by and check them out. Thanks for spending an hour with us. It goes by so quick, guys. Next week we're going to talk about sights and lasers. Get into the green laser versus the red laser. Don't miss that at 1 o'clock next week. Thanks for spending time with us. We're on target, broadcasting live from LEPD Firearms and Range.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and pillows, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9%.
The music wasn't very loud, so I didn't know if you guys...
Kel-Tec has two.
So that's why you
it has this one. And we forget about, now they have the carbine in 22 Magnum. They have the CFR.
The CFR, yeah.
So they have that. There's the High Point, the Beretta Storm, the JRC, the Colt, the Rock River LAR, the Olympic Arms. Forrest makes a carbine now, like the Beretta Storm.
I think they discontinued it.
We talked about the Citadel that we had that we sold in 9mm.
I want one in 10mm.
The FN PS90.